Good morning,
Morning,
everyone. Good morning and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Dr. Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha, coming to you from a chilly Connecticut, cloudy. It's 61 degrees. I had to pull up the weather before I got on. After a very interesting storm last night, remnants of the hurricane that swooped up from Louisiana across. So it is very cool outside and it's beautiful, and the rain, and Gladiator Guru would have loved the rain and the thunder last night and the wind. So I am your chiropractic physician, your authenticity teacher, speaker, coach, mindfulness, specializing in mindfulness practice and transformation. And I'm also your weight loss specialist. So good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it rained all day here in Florida. Good morning, Badass Buddha.
Good morning, Gladiator Guru.
So let me give you my weather. It is now 40% chance of rain in the Tampa Bay area at 75 degrees. It'll rain up until all day. And the high.
It'll rain up until all day.
Yeah, because I just scrolled, but it's going to rain until 11, then stop, and then start at 2 until 7. I don't know. But then, you know what? Yesterday, it was a Connecticut day. It rained all day, so I was very excited with that. Good morning, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru, your writer, author, artist, coach, sacred healer, end-of-life doula. And your wedding. So if you want to get married, call me. I do hand fasting too. So yeah, let's get this party started. Yeah.
Let's get it started.
Because I'm so tone deaf, but you wouldn't know it because I'd be singing like, woo. Like I sound just like the artist, and don't interrupt me either. That's like no. Let me sing. Let me have some joy in my life.
So, Gladiator Guru, what coffee are you drinking this morning? We didn't manage to have a conversation on that at all on Tuesday.
I am drinking Erica Bolahala. I see you're on. The cups came in, so the big shipment is going out. What's today? Thursday. Tomorrow. I have some extra purchases, so they all go out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm drinking Cafe La Llave. It's dark and bitter the way I like my men. So yeah, and so it's my Viva. This is my full in your face bam Viva when I want to be aristocratic and
well, yes,
I want to look smart.
You have to do that.
I do it on the left hand. So we are on both sides of this mug. So that's it. Cafe La Llave. Today is what I'm drinking.
I'm drinking that Caribou coffee, Lake Shore. I have a little bit left. I really don't like it. I haven't been. I didn't drink this one. I've been drinking the other one that I got, and then I went back to this one. I'm like, I got a little bit left. Let me finish it. But it's just, I don't like it. So that'll be that for that.
You realize it's just not your cup of tea. Okay, well, salud and good morning with the coffee. The tribes who are drinking coffee right at this moment, raise your glass. Salud, we raise it. Thank you for being here with us this morning. So Tiffany, I got your message. You want 2 of the black ones, I assume, right? Sorry, yesterday I was busy creating. It was my creating day. So those will go out tomorrow. So yeah, just let me know. Do you want Viva? Do you want us on both sides? Do you want Viva emoji with just Viva con Leche?
Do you want us on both sides?
Yeah.
My God, if Ephraim was listening, his head would be exploding right now. Do you want us on both sides? And Ephraim would definitely say yes.
Birthday, I don't know if anybody follows Ephraim Silver that's come on the show with us. But for his birthday, he took like a GQ model picture of his torso, no shirt. Talk about 57 look good. I was like, oh, Maron.
Yeah.
He's a carnivore, and everybody thought it wasn't going to do good. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, bless his energy.
He's totally a paleo guy. Absolutely swears by it. Yep. And I know because I knew him before, and it's not that he didn't have a nice physique. He wasn't as cut as he is now. But he had all kinds of allergies and he used to take allergy medications. So we used to have a conversation about this because he was a student of mine. And then once he switched his diet, that was it. He started to switch it because I recommended him take apple cider vinegar, and he did, and it helped. But he still had a few things here and there. But then once he switched that, he hasn't taken any type of allergy medications, acid reflux medications, because that was the reason he was taking the apple cider vinegar. So that's stuff. It really is. I mean, it makes a big deal when you switch your diet. And I'm going to tell you, I can attest, because whenever I eat the wrong things, I feel like absolute crapola. And I have found that I become more and more sensitive to things as I've deleted stuff out of my diet, and then I would put it back in to see how I did. I become more and more sensitive. So like I love popcorn. Like popcorn is one of my favorite snacks, but I can't eat it anymore. I ate some the other night and I just get so damn bloated. I'm also noticing like I'm getting all doubly chin, but I'm feeling very bloated and it's just very, very uncomfortable. So it makes a difference, like right now I'm feeling my stomach and literally my stomach, because that's what I'm feeling. Whatever I ate last night was bothering me. So if you feel lousy, we just get so used to it. So we just let it keep happening. And then when we take it away and then we realize how good we feel and we bring it back, you're like, wow, that's like stupid. Why would I want to do that?
Oh, it's because we also like to blame our gut. I just can't. My stomach. I have celiac. I have I'm gluten. We blame our stomachs and not what we're putting into it. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem.
Good morning, Chenille. Good morning, Iritza. Good morning, Gwen. Lots in the house. Good morning, everybody.
Buenos días, mi gente.
So how about those of you from Connecticut? How about that weather last night? What the hell was that? We had more of a hurricane than the hurricane that actually hit us. It was crazy last night. We didn't lose any power. I'm surprised because the winds were, I had my shades all the way up because I've got big windows in the bedroom, and I had the window all the way open so that I can hear the wind and the rain and the thunder, and that, although the thunder passed quickly, but the rain was crazy. The wind was crazy, but it was it was
needed.
It was beautiful.
All those leaves needed to be shaken loose. It's a purpose.
They didn't, though. Interestingly, they weren't ready to go yet. So you could see how well they really grasped on to stuff this summer, because there weren't a lot of down limbs and leaves. So had this happened like in about 3 weeks or a month, we would have seen some crazy stuff.
No, it's preparing it. It loosens it. Look, Tiffany said they had tornadoes in Annapolis, Maryland. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, we had a tornado warning up here too. I didn't hear anything. We had we kept getting the things where the alerts were going off. We kept getting, that flash flooding and all this stuff. And look at Iritza. Me and Abel were snuggling under the covers real quick. Oh, isn't that nice?
I was snuggling under mine.
Oh, look at Maritza. Bless you, coming on at 5 a.m. Maritza, good morning.
Buenos dias, beautiful. I'm glad you're loving Arizona. I'm glad you found the ancestral, spiritual awakening there as soon as you arrived, because that is just beautiful. Arizona.
Where are you? Where is she in Arizona? Do you know? Are you in Sedona? Is that where you are? Because I've never been, but man, I have been wanting to go I was going to go for this last trip, but I didn't want to go that far south. So if you're there, that's beautiful, but Arizona is beautiful.
Pila says the Buddha's chilling with her little hat on. Hey, Maria, are you in Connecticut? Are you safe? Everything good? Oh, she's in Scottsdale. Fancy, fancy Scottsdale.
I used to do spring break in Scottsdale. I have family in Scottsdale. So all my friends would all go to Florida and I'd go to Scottsdale and I would come back with this beautiful tan because it doesn't rain. And they'd come back and they'd be like, it rained the whole time. And I'd be like, oh, damn, look at me.
There's one movie that captures Arizona, well, two, and that makes you fall in love with it without actually being there. Now, I was in Phoenix for 3 weeks back in 1985, and I loved it. It's where I learned how to eat blueberry pancakes from this little wooden diner owned and manned by Native Americans. And that was so beautiful. But it's Waiting to Exhale, and it's the movie where Whoopi Goldberg, Drew Barrymore, and this other chick drive from New York City.
The Boys, isn't it something? The Boys, yes. Where the boys are. I think it's Where the Boys Are.
Yes, and it's where they.
I can't believe I pulled that up.
They, and the way they showcased Arizona and just the houses, the way they're made out of the red mud, and that made you fall in love with it without actually being there. But when I was there, I loved it. It was 107 degrees when I was there in Phoenix. So you're like, but it's so comfortable.
But it's a dry heat.
Once you adjust, well, when I'm from here, it's
a dry heat.
Hola, Francia.
I do though. I joke because people always say that it's a dry heat. There is a difference though. Believe me, there is a difference. The dry, like if you go under shade, if you could find shade, because there's no trees in Arizona, but if you get under something, the temperature difference is ridiculous when you're out in the sun versus in the shade. Here with humidity, you can't escape it. Like there is no escaping. It's like you get in the shade and it's just still humid and
it is. It's hell's waiting room here in Florida.
Hell's waiting room.
Winter's coming, and I look at when I go to the stores and I see like bomber coats. I'm like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, when it does get cold, it gets cold. Don't get me wrong. It'll get to like 30 degrees, which feels like 20 if you're in Connecticut, because it's so humid. It's a wet cold. But there's no need for a bomber.
I don't like wet cold.
There's no need for a bomber.
I like wet, but I don't like wet cold.
But yeah, so it gets kind of crazy. But where's my diamond fell out? We can't have that because I have to be 3-dimensional today. Yeah, so that's it. Who got the mantra or the?
I have the mantra today. You have the intention, my dear.
Oh, I go first. I'm waiting. My intention is I am centered and focused. I am centered and focused. There's another word I was going to put. That's what I get for not writing it right here. Oh, I got it. I am centered and focused. I am my path itself.
So that's the intention for you are your path. And the mantra for today, which is very fitting for what we're going to have our discussion with our beautiful guest that's sitting in the back, ready to come in.
Yes, I can't wait.
I am beautiful. That's the mantra for today. I am beautiful.
Like
in every single way.
See, we all have different songs. Well, we're beautiful. Beautiful. I love it.
So, that's the whole point. I mean, today's conversation is called Slashing Social Norms. And I'm sorry, I'm like very mellow today. I didn't sleep at all. My kid has a external ear infection. So she has swimmer's ear and was in so much pain last night. So she kept me up till 3 a.m. and then I never fell back asleep. So I'll get there. I just have my cup of coffee. But today's conversation is really, really important. And we were so blown away by our guest that's coming on today. And we're very honored to have her on. She has her own podcast and she's going to talk about that, but she's going to talk about her story. And she chose the title Slashing Social Norms because you'll see why. But this is really, really important, ladies, and the men that do come on the program, but especially ladies, because we are so driven by, quote, the social acceptance of things and what society believes us to be. And thank goodness that has shifted over the years. I mean, I grew up in that atmosphere when I was a kid. And, when everybody was like skinny and blah, 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 and you had to look a certain way, and eating disorders were so ridiculously common. And I mean, I had one. And so it's trying to fit in, which is so the wrong thing to do, because it doesn't honor the fact that you are who you are. We are perfectly imperfect, and we are all beautiful the way that we are. So today's conversation is going to be very, very inspiring to all of you. And we really, like we said before on Tuesday's show, and we've been saying, it's so important for you to share this show. Not because we want all the views. Well, we do, but it's not just that. It's that because the content is so good. And today is no exception. We really want you to share today's show with individuals who can hear this, that need to hear this, that should hear this. And I know we don't like to shit on people and say need because it sounds desperate, but who these people are, and just say, hey, listen, this is going to be really inspirational. Check this out. Or I watched this. It was really inspirational.
It was.
So share, like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, but anything else you want to say before we
taking out of content a lot. Yes. Content. And I personally don't like to be called beautiful, but I hate when a man says it, but that's because I always say that beauty, this is fleeting. If you're beautiful in your heart, then it pours out into this physical. So I think kindness and gratitude is what makes us beautiful. And then all of this is like, no matter what you look like on the outside, it's like the light's coming out. With that Broadway light, when they have it coming out like that, when the beauty is from within and you're just true to who you are, and it's not a facade in any kind. You're just who you are. You're that badass who don't give a shit, who likes the way you look or that way you act. That's beauty. So when that comes out of you, then it's like, whew, Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Cleopatra. You see, I didn't name none of these recent plastic surgery hoes. Authenticity. So, when you meet a beautiful person, hold on, because you can learn so much just by them pouring a cup of water, because with the grace and the ease they do it with, that's beauty to me. So let's celebrate being beautiful, and let's celebrate the fact that it's never too late to gain that inner beauty.
Yes.
Every day is a new day. It's a new beginning. You can shed the old you and just be real, be true. Let your spirit be who it intended it to be from the start. All of this bullshit. So I'm being rushed by the badass. All right, Kathi, come on.
There she is.
Go the gladiator. I love it.
Kathi in the house. We're going to welcome Kathi Tait, the bald warrior.
That's me.
So, you know what? I'm going to have I'm hearing my background voice, so we might have to mute when only one person's talking.
Hold on. I'll mute.
Okay. So go ahead, Kathi. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what your story is.
Thanks, girls. I'm so happy to be here and speak to your audiences. Hi, everybody out there. I'm Kathi. I'm from Australia. It is nighttime here, so I'm grooving with my hot chocolate because I can't have coffee at 10 p.m. And I think I saw your cups, girls. I think we're going to need to do a cup swap. What do you reckon, ladies? I'm loving your cup. So I'm so happy to be here and tell a bit of my story, and super excited for what Laurie is going to share later too. Not saying a word. I don't know what you've said. So my story actually starts when I was a little girl, and my sister had leukemia. It was 40 years ago now, and so they really didn't have, the knowledge and treatments they have nowadays, so we lost her. And about a year later, my hair just kind of patches started just falling out randomly at school, at home, and we had no idea what was happening to me. It was crazy. And quite stressful, and the doctors didn't know, and we lived in a little town, so we had to travel a long way for specialists, and started this whole procession of doctors and not knowing and experimentation, and it kind of I started getting teasing at school, and so I grew up with this little warped vision of myself. I wasn't normal like everybody else. No one could actually tell me what was wrong with me apart from stress was causing it. Now, my sister had died, so yeah, duh. And then they tried all these diets and vitamins. Nobody thought about my mindset. It seems so obvious now, right? In 2021. But in 1981... you didn't do that, and especially when you lived in outback Australia, probably it was unheard of to talk to somebody about what you were thinking. So I guess I was a bit of a product of the times, but that's where my story started. And they're led on years of primary school, high school. I had some years, I had some hair, and it was a bit normal. It was kind of cool, and then I left school, and I nearly got married, and then when that all sort of fell apart, the alopecia reappeared in a big way, and I actually got myself into a bit of trouble, like drinking too much, being a bit of a barfly, hanging out with the wrong people, ended up with a guy who was beating me up. Pregnant. So I'm about 21 by now, by the time I got pregnant, and stuck in domestic violence. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? And it wasn't very long into popping that baby out, I got myself out of there. But it was a very tortured 2 years in amongst full-on alopecia. And he was, guys that are kind of the guys that do domestic violence, and there's always a bit of psycho manipulation that goes along, right? So there was a lot of that around my alopecia as well, which, you can see I've got this cemented version of myself now after my teens and that early happenstance. And so I go off into life. I exited this domestic violence. It was actually one of the best things that happened to me, because I found my inner strength, and I turned up that voice, the one that we have that cheers us on, not the one that criticizes us, but the one that cheers us on. I turned that voice up, and I got out of there, and I started making a life for us. And so I educated myself. It took me 8 years to do a degree. While my son went to school, I was going to school too. But in the meantime, I just shut myself down emotionally. There was no vulnerability. There was no, the first girl I made friends with at TAFE, and she used to tell the story, that I would be under the tree reading the book in, TAFE breaks, because I didn't want to talk to anybody, I didn't want to associate with anybody. I was that fresh out of domestic violence with this baby. And I didn't know how to make a healthy relationship to save my life. And she just kept coming over and saying hello to me. She just kept persisting. It took about 3 weeks to get me to go and sit with them. And we became best friends. It was amazing. But that's the impact it has on you, right? And anyway, so besides her and her sister, I only had like a couple of friends for a really long time. And that was sort of a consequence of not being taught how to emotionally process not only my sister's death, but all the other stuff that then piled on top of me, right? And, I didn't know any better either, right? So I'm just winging it here. single mum in it, educated myself, we're surviving, so we're going well here. You know, got a couple of friends, we go out drinking, have the odd boyfriend, but not important. My son's the one that's important, so, you know, I was doing okay. And I managed to do quite well professionally. I won Business Leader of the Year award back in 2011 when my son graduated from high school with 6 awards and 2 job offers from mining companies. You know, we did okay. And then kind of disaster hit again. And I actually don't think I've shared this publicly before. But the mining town where we were at the time that brought those amazing opportunities for my son, about 9 months, it bit me in the ass and I lost my house through a crash that happened and I had to go bankrupt. And that was extremely hard. And at the time I was also in a second marriage that was very up and down and not domestic violence, but certainly some more of that psychological manipulation going on. However, I was meant to be with him because he is the man that taught me that outer beauty, the facade was utter BS and social norms were BS and hierarchical social systems were BS. And we are all equal. Yes, we are. No matter where we come from, what, you know, country or culture or class, or we are all essentially the same. And that is not what I had been taught. Good old English system, right? You know, we would talk completely differently. And so it was a real eye-opener being with him because ups and downs and love of my life, ladies. Oh my God. But besides, my son's father also treated me the worst I've ever been treated in my life. It was devastating. So I had the highest highs and the greatest lows. And divorcing him is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, to give up on the high, the love that I know was real, but we just couldn't stop this circle of hurting each other. And I take my blame in that. Anyway, he was one of those real big epiphany lessons I needed, because what it did when I left him, I had to find that strength again, you know, that, and really pull it out of myself, because this was as hard as leaving the domestic violence was. And then I had to start healing. And I knew that if I ever actually wanted to have a relationship that could work and I could be vulnerable and could trust someone ever again, I had to clean all my shit out. And so I spent the next hallelujah. I spent the next 4 years doing just that. But I kind of did it the hard way. I kind of mucked through it on my own, you know, and it worked for me, but I probably don't recommend doing it on your own. I probably could have got through it a lot quicker had I been better at asking for help. Anyway, so around 4 years ago, this brings my story to around 4 years ago, and I'm like, all right, I got to help people. I can't let them sit in silence under wigs for 30 years like I did and pretend they're somebody they're not, and be scared to go for a job interview without their wig on. I can't let it happen anymore. It's making me sick. That's the point I got to, you know, because I had just stagnated in it my whole life and let so many things I wanted to do I didn't do. You know, and I feel like maybe you can relate to what I'm saying, but, you know, you really limit your life when some of these things happen to you and you want to keep secrets. And the reason for keeping the secret was the crazy part. I was hurting myself by keeping the secret because it was in fear of what other people thought of me. And once I could get rid of that fear, that was the instrumental turning point that I really want to bring home in this story, because what I realized is that what people react to you is kind of a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Therefore, it's got nothing to do with you.
really
Let me
does.
just say that again.
Wow.
This
It's true.
is so big. Their reaction to you guys is about them. It's actually got nothing to do with you. So why would we take it on as our stuff? Now, I'm going to tell you the name of my podcast later. Make sure you go and listen to the Shoebox, because this is an episode you cannot miss. It's all about, it's their stuff. So once I realized that, I was free of the fear of judgment, right? Once you're free of the fear of judgment, you can rip it all off and not give a shit. Now, I'm not saying I don't have my bad days, ladies. I have skin outbreaks. I get bad eczema. You were talking before about not being able to eat popcorn. I can't drink red wine and I can't eat cheese, and it's devastating. I can't eat any dairy, actually. And now red wine's doing it too. Bless red wine. So now I have to give up red wine because it just breaks me out. And, you know, so we all have bad days. What I'm saying is that it's not about that. It's about getting past the mirror and looking actually into your own eyes. Getting past that this is what society told you. You should have long hair, short hair, no hair, eyebrows. Should you wax under your arms? Like, why do women spend thousands of dollars ripping hair off every part of their body except their head? Why would we do that? Like, I don't know. I think we're all evolving to hairless anyway, people. So be prepared for that. It's my prediction. Anyway, so I kind of, so 4 years ago, that's when I started speaking out and made Bald Warrior. And then a couple of years ago, decided I wanted to do a podcast so I could speak to more people. And my voice sort of expanded from alopecia to all of us, because we all have these same feelings in our own way. It's not limited to people with alopecia. That's just my thing. So all the people with alopecia can relate to me, and all the people that have their other things, they're going to find their person that they can relate to. I just want them to know they're not alone, and that there are ways to think about your life and ways to direct your brain's thoughts and ways to talk to yourself that will make you happier. And that is what the podcast is about. And we just turned 1 last week. Yay! And hit our 56th country. So, yay!
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're super stoked to be sharing it with so many people. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my story. I questions, throw it out there. Anybody, I'm an open book.
Well, at first I wanted to say thank you for admitting you had a problem asking for help. Because I think as women...
Hold on, we're getting a lot of feedback. with yours. So Kathi, just mute while she talks. There we go. That should help.
So, I mean, asking for help, the ego, pride, shame keeps us from doing just that. So when I hear people say I had to ask for help, to me, that is that's warrior status. Especially when you've been beaten down and then kicked while you were down, whether it be verbal, emotional, physical abuse. So to actually find that strength within to trust somebody to say, please help me. It's hard. So I want to give you that. Single mom, being a single mom, and your son sounds like he's just amazing and that you have a great relationship. That's also kudos, because coming from when we are broken, it's some parents don't know how to love their kids because they stay stuck on there. But to actually still be broken and love somebody so helpless as you're trying to pick up the pieces, warrior status, and that's domestic violence comes in all forms. I think we've all suffered it at some way, shape, or form of another. And I think that women who can come out and be a badass and tell their story and be like, I don't give a fuck who likes me because I'm always for me. Because that's my motto. I'm not for everybody, but I'm always for me. So if they don't like it, fuck them. Because I could only be me. And I'm not a people pleaser in that way. So, and you know what? We all have bad days. We all have those days where we don't want to do nothing. But I heard something the other day from Jen Carey, who everybody thinks is going crazy, right? And those who society deems to be crazy, listen more closely because they're onto something. He said that when you're feeling depressed, don't let the word depressed get to you, because what your body is telling you that you need deep rest.
Oh, I like that.
So yesterday I'm busy. I'm doing what I need to do for all the products to make sure that everything goes out right. Last minute purchases. So, and I'm listening to that, and I almost cried because I've been beating myself up because I'm in that seasonal sadness with my mom passing, and the Badass Buddha and I spoke about it. We've been speaking about it. And it's like to hear somebody who society is deeming to be nuts because he's onto something say that, I feel like, okay, so thank you, because you know what? Healing is a tricky little fucker, but we still got to do it on our own. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You just got me all in.
Well, don't be sorry. I think they're awesome comments, and thank you. And I think I don't think he's wrong. I think deep rest is something that we deny ourselves in today's world. I certainly think there's another component that I'm sure he speaks about, which is connection.
Yes.
And I think that that's super important when it comes to combating, because I think a big part of when I know I've suffered some, I don't know, it's never diagnosed, but I know, you know yourself, I've had periods of depression, and I isolated myself, and I did it on purpose. And I know that in that period after my second marriage, when I was in that healing, I had two very good girlfriends who kept presenting themselves. Like I didn't have to ask all the time because they knew me. So they were just wonderful, and they taught me how to ask for help. You know, they taught me how to communicate again. They were just wonderful, just in their gentle, loving ways, and they're still two of the best friends I have today, tearing up a little bit because they're both very special to me. And Leche and Liz, if you do happen to watch this, mwah, I'm going to see them both on Saturday, actually, so I'm going to give them an extra hug. But I have have had some very amazing women, and especially in the last 2 years into my life, it is just amazing. The women that I'm meeting that seem to be finding me, I'm finding them, we're gravitating towards each other. You know, I'm a part of this brand new movement I want to tell you girls about, and your audience about, called Women Gone Wild. We published this book, and it's becoming a worldwide movement empowering women's femininity. And it's brilliant, you know, because it's time we kind of picked our sovereignty up and really took that on board, and threw off the old excuses of it wasn't allowed, or they weren't the systems, or no, this is our world now. Like we need to create it for each other and for our daughters and granddaughters, and you know, so I'm super excited to be part of that's going on. The book has got some amazing stories in it. I'm really excited to be part of that, and of course I get to share a bit of my story in there too, which is really cool. Yeah,
I think. Oh, go ahead, Kathi.
I think we're going to say the same thing. One of our guests is on it. I saw her put the post on it yesterday. Legend, right? Legend is on it. She
Legend Berman. I don't know. Is Legend? I don't know. Is Legend on there? You would know the authors. How many, Kathi? I don't know.
Is her name Legend?
Yes, she's from England.
She might be part of the summit. So at the end of the month, they're doing a Woman Gone Wild summit, and they're starting to post about that now. So the book had 22 authors, but the summit's got 44 speakers and 8 celebrities. It's going to be really huge, and it's free to attend. So I'll be posting about that, and I'll share it with you ladies as well, because it's going to be worthwhile. 4 days of amazing content. Yeah.
Okay. That's incredible. That's great.
Yeah, I think I saw you. Yeah, absolutely. Empowerment of women coming together, like, we are the power of pussy, point blank, period. We're the trendsetters and the trailblazers. We're the strongest species in the universe. We're the breeders of life, and we forget. We fall in love, we go where we forget our own power, so we take step backs in our own fucking lives. Then we wonder where we went wrong. So that's something that I have. I have a series, an art series of it. I have a whole mission thing on it, and it's called The Power of Pussy. And it is to be a disruptor. It is for people to look and say, what the hell she's talking about? Well, pay attention and let me educate you. And that's right there, the Women Gone Wild, the badass, our badass author group. I think that the more we figure out, the more we're reminded of who the hell we are, and we put our stories out there, we're helping this generation that seems a little, and then my granddaughter's generation. When I have 2 granddaughters, an 18-year-old and a 10-month-old. So what are we gonna do? I have to leave a legacy so that they can always fall back on and say, let me see what the hell my grandmother was talking about. That's what I want to leave, so thank you for that. And I can't wait till ours is out, because
ours is similar. Ours is, that's what her badass story is about too. It's about stories of, from trauma to triumph to transformation. And Gladiator Guru was right. We need these. I love the fact that you said that women, you started to connect on a level with women that you didn't before. And I think we as women are finally getting out of our own way, and we're not following suit with what, like, trying to be like a guy or trying, because we're just not that way. We are nurturers by nature, and we have to stop fighting that. So rather than competing, which is a total masculine quality, we need to just say, hey, listen, there's enough abundance in this world to go around, and we can all share it, and we do so much better that way. Because I know what you're saying, because the last couple of years for me, I have gained this amazingly large band of women connections, and I'm loving it. Like, they're incredibly nurturing and healthy and powerful and uplifting. And I think about it on a daily basis of how grateful I am that all these women have come into my life, even on the tribe. I mean, we love our tribe. Our tribe is just so incredible. And those that even are struggling, they always get uplifted. And then like you said, we have our moments too. And so we get down, and then the tribe lifts us up. And that's the whole point of it all, Yes. Kathi, show everybody your tattoo. You can unmute yourself.
Try and get the whole thing in the camera. Sort of goes down a little bit more. And then the other side is my tribal. Did I turn all the way around?
I love it.
Your swivel head.
So tell everybody what that meant to you. What did you get the tattoo for, and how long ago did you get that?
Whew. Let's see. It must be 5 time is just slipping. Nearly 6 years, I think. I think I was about 43. And I know the date is quite blurry. I'd have to go count like which year I lived in Perth. I know it was in October because that's like my birthday month. So it started in October and it was finished in November. And it was super, super important to me. Now, here's the thing. I think for me, I spent all those years hiding under a wig. One of the biggest reasons was my alopecia was patchy. Even if I had have shaved my head, I still would have looked like the freako with the spotty head. Like, there was no way round it. And so that's kind of why I went the wig way in the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of turned bigger than Ben-Hur and overtook my life without me really meaning it to. It just kind of went that way, especially in a professional career. I was in government, then accounting firms, and then with businesses, and I'm okay being the tattooed accountant now. Like, it's all good, but I wasn't this confident in my 20s and 30s. So, yeah, because of that, when my hair finally did all fall out, I ended up with just like one last patch here. And to wear the wig, I had to shave it, and it hurt. And I was just like, oh, for God's sake, I'm over it. Like this, and I always talked upstairs. And yeah, within 2 weeks, actually, it was gone. So I was now fully bald. And then I met the husband that was up and down, and he was so encouraging about it. He was never cruel or mean about the alopecia. It was always brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And would just gently like encourage me and over and over. And then one day we'd split up and we were getting back together, and I just decided not to wear the wig. It was a snap decision, just like that. I shocked myself, right? I'm doing it. I'm going to prove to him I can change, right? Because a lot of whether we're going to stay together was my issues as well as his issues, right? It takes two. And we went to the local fish shop, and I remember him whispering in my ear, "No one's even looking, babe." Which made me feel a lot better because I was sure everybody was staring at me. Anyway, so I practiced that for like 2 years, going bald out everywhere. Like when I said practice, like I did it 95% of the time. Very rarely wore my wigs. And I always used to get asked if I had cancer. And it really hurt me because that's what started the whole fucking shit show. I can swear on your show now. Yeah. I'm not allowed to on my podcast. No potty mouth. Yeah, that's what started the whole shit show way back in, 1981, right? So, like, yeah. I hated that. And I hated people thinking I was a victim or that I was sick. I didn't like any of those things. And, there's a whole bald look, right? If you put a bandana on, you look more like you have cancer. I don't know about in America, but in Australia, they have bandanas to raise money for fucking cancer, and all the kids wear the bandanas. So, bandanas were out straight away. The only hat I will wear, I've got a cowboy hat for when I go camping, and I have a beanie for when it's freezing cold, and I have a fedora maybe I'll wear, and that's it, right? Other than that, I don't do hats. Anyway, so the tattoo was my way of taking my power back and going, no, fuck you, my head's beautiful, I'm gonna make it beautiful. And I knew it was a dragon. I knew for 2 years until the artist appeared in my life. I'm a very big manifester of when it's the right time, the person's going to be there. And it was a whole trippy story, and he was amazing. He designed it for me. And then the people, when I started the Bald Warrior, I'm like, I want my logo to be of the dragon. And the design for the tribal came from the dragon. And then we bent it to kind of put him over my ear. So we're going to have some more things happening here at some point. Don't know when, don't know who, don't know what country, because this is in Hawaii. This is in Western Australia. So I'm feeling like, I don't know, maybe we'll do it somewhere completely different. We'll see where I'm allowed to go next year. might be in Thailand. I don't know.
So I want to. So I want to. There's a. So I want to say something, and somebody has to mute because there's a lot of there's the backup. Sorry, I hate when it doesn't do it all the time, but when it does it, it's so annoying. So, when you're talking about slashing social norms, what you went through, you have two pieces here. You have the piece of the social piece, the piece of like what you're thinking other people are thinking, and in fact might be thinking, that they thought you had cancer, they thought you were sick. And so there's that piece, and you can't control what people think. But then there's the other piece. It's like how you feel about yourself. How you have to, women, we are so in tuned because of the social norm that hair is like, that's what makes us feminine. It's just like breasts make women feminine. And so when women have, the breast removed from cancer, it changes. They have to overcome that piece, So Kathi and I were kind of emailing back and forth about this because there's a reason I wore the cap today. I have alopecia, and my alopecia started, and I remember it was in 2010. I was 40. It started out with one spot. My mother has thinning hair, and so her hair's been thin for years. But what I ended up having, because I went and I thought it was itchy and had the scabby, and I noticed I had a bald spot. So I went to the dermatologist, and he looked it over, and he said, you have what's called scarring alopecia, which is like an autoimmune type of alopecia where my immune cells are literally attacking my hair follicles. And he said, there's no treatment for it. And he says, even if you used the stuff that grows your hair back, he goes, it won't work. And in fact, I've tried numerous healthy ones, non-healthy ones, and all of them, whatever claim they all make, does not help. It actually makes it worse, makes my scalp itchier, redder, and the hair falls out. So that was 2010. So now I'm 51. And I have lost a significant amount of hair. And the reason most people don't realize it is because I wear hair makeup, and I put hair follicles in, and I do a great comb over. And the reason being is not because I'm ashamed of it. I was at first, and I used to really get upset when people would notice it. Before the hair makeup came out, I was devastated when the wind would blow and you would see it. And that was when it wasn't really bad. But I've really gotten past that. It's more of, I do it for me. I love my hair. For the first time in my life, I fell in love with my hair. Like, I really enjoy my hair. So I'm not really ready to give it up yet, but it is getting progressively worse. And there will be a time where I can't cover it up. And I say to myself all the time, when I'm ready, just like you, when I'm ready, I'll take it all off. So, and here's the thing, and I don't know why I'm getting upset, but I was so inspired by Kathi of how brave she was that I wanted to be brave too. So this is really hard. I didn't know if I was going to get upset. I'm trying not to get upset because we believe ourselves to be a certain way. So I'm actually going to show you how bad my alopecia is, and people will be really shocked because you never notice this when I'm on, or at least I don't think so. Maybe people do, and they're just not saying anything. So I have two types. I have alopecia, and I also have female pattern baldness. So I have those, receding hairline here, and I have a receding hairline here. But you could see how thin my hair is. But if I move over, so let me see how to do this. See my hair? Look how bald I am. This is all, I can't, it's hard. It's
not nearly as bad as you think.
No, well, I mean, it's actually, it is. It's just I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble parting my hair. So my hair goes, it's like this, and it is bald in the back as well. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is bad. I mean, it's when I part it in the middle, like I can't part my hair in the middle anymore. It's not looking like it's all that bad, but it is.
The female pattern baldness one is quite different because it doesn't have the big obvious like round circles.
Yes.
So yeah,
so
the comb over is usually more successful. That is so much what my head looked like for so long. I cannot tell you. That's probably what my head was like most of my 20s. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
feel you, babe.
it's gotten worse, really, really bad, over the last few years. And it was definitely stress. I had a very, very stressful 20s and 30s. I also didn't eat well, and it kept falling out and falling out. And I think the thing that really threw me off was that, oh, somebody mute, because I keep hearing the feedback, if you don't mind. I think the thing that bothered me the most was my youngest daughter. She said one day, I don't want, because I joke about it and I'll say, oh, well, mommy's hair's falling out, so I'll just shave it off one day and I'll be bald. It's no big deal. I get to wear like really fun things and hats, and I might do the wigs. I might not, who the hell knows? And she got upset and she says, Mommy, I don't want you to be bald. And she started crying one day. So I knew, I'm like, I've got to work on that piece. I've got to fix that piece with her, because I don't want her to ever think that, like, I don't want her to be upset by that. I want her to, because, and then I asked her why. And she actually said to me, because you look ugly. That's what she said. And she's so young that I'm thinking to myself, where did she hear this? Where did she come to this belief? And it's not me, because I don't ever say it, so I know it's not coming from me. But
clearly social norms at work. Like,
exactly.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And can I butt in? Because something that Margarita said in the beginning, I think is super important about the inside and the outside job, right? And so I wanted to just reiterate that and go, everything that we are doing on the outside is just decoration. And if they think that is our value, then we have definitely missed the lesson, and we definitely need to revisit that, because we cannot allow them to think that how they look is what they are valued. That's crazy. And there's so many great analogies in nature to teach them that with. We talk about this a bit on the podcast. And one of the ones that Daisy used was the orchid, because Daisy's an orchid lover. And she had a client, and she was telling the story of the client and the orchid, where she told the client to look at the orchid and praise it, and say how beautiful it was and how elegant and the color and how healthy, and then Daisy took her turn and did the opposite and said how horrible the orchid was and how ugly it was and how it looked like it was shriveling up and whatever. And then she asked the client, now, did the orchid change? And of course the orchid didn't change, because the observer's opinion has no perspective on the value of what is being observed. And that's what we need to teach our daughters especially. Like, I didn't get that lesson and it ruined my 20s. And, I'm sure you girls can relate. And I'm sure a lot of you viewers can relate as well. So we need to make sure that we teach our daughters and granddaughters and give them these tools of empowerment and self-belief and self-love. Because you, my dear, are just beautiful, and you are going to rock that damn bald head when it's time, when you're ready. But you do it when you're ready, And I have no problem with being your best version. And if that means hair makeup for you, go for it. I tattooed on my eyebrows and my smoky eye. Yeah, hell yeah. I've had 3 eye tattoos, 4 eyebrow tattoos. They need doing again. And my whole head tattooed, not to mention a leg and a bit of my back, So everybody, do your unique you. And I've had the most fun in my 40s figuring out what it is unique 40-year-old Kathi loves. So I've had a really fun decade of actually just focusing on me, because, the kid's grown up. He went off. I was about 41. That was done. Divorced the dick at about 44. Right. It's had some fun. Pierced my nose in my 40s, pierced the top of my ear, tattooed my head, did all the, you know. I'm thinking about my eyelids done in the next 5 years.
I love that.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. No, I don't. First of all, yes. Thank you, badass. Because mi gente, she also surprised me with her coming out, which I think was beautiful. So thank you. And you're absolutely right. Listen, my daughter is 5'1", if that. 90 pounds wet. I don't know how she's my kid, right? 5'1", 90 pounds wet. Tiffany will walk in the room and she's like a fucking Amazon bitch. That's how big her spirit is, because that's how I raised her. My granddaughter is 18 years old. She don't have to work. So she drives 45 minutes each way to work, part-time evenings. She's in college during the day. In between those hours, she does nails. She likes to earn her own money and pay her own way, because that is how it trickled down. That's how I have my one-on-one with them. Absolutely. You know, we have to raise strong women, and, you know, and just let them know, fuck everybody's opinion. I love, there's a quote that says, I am not what you say I am. You are what you say I am. Because that's all it is. Like, I don't care who likes me. I can be loved, and I thank those who love me. But those people who don't like me, they're the ones missing out. But I just wanted to share. See, I shaved this side of my head. I don't know if you can see it, how my skin is changing. Can you see it?
There you go. You're better now.
Like white. It's coming up white all through here and coming. And that part is shaved. And you know what? I'm the phoenix, because I rise out the motherfucking fire like a storm. Catch me if you want. So, yeah, so this was very important. You sharing that story, my granddaughter is also a leukemia survivor. So that, I felt like crying when you said that. But she was 6, now she's 18. Badass Buddha. I love you, babe.
I love you too, Gladiator Guru. And we love Kathi. And Kathi, thank you so much for coming on. Kathi, you just... we definitely want our tribe to check out Kathi's podcast. So quickly, it's time for us to go. But Kathi, go ahead and tell everybody about your podcast, where to find it, and then we'll sign off for today.
Oh, yeah, cool. We're super easy to find. You can see in my background, Bold and Blonde. Any podcast platform will be in there. Just search Bold and Blonde. The red logo is us. If you don't know how to do that, go to my website, boldandblonde.live. You can listen on the homepage. And I'm going to make a video for all of the 45, I'm being gentle, pluses out there who don't know what Spotify is. So that will be on the homepage soon too, to show you how to download it. Thank you so much. I have had so much fun talking. And
Kathi, I want to be on your podcast.
Oh, babe, we don't do guests. It's a funny format. No, we don't. But we're starting to do stuff on Clubhouse. I'd like to collaborate on Clubhouse. That would be amazing. Let's talk about doing that for sure. Because that's going to give your audiences exclusive access to us. Only on Clubhouse we're doing that. So, yeah, we definitely want to do that. So thank you for having me. Please just let anybody know out there if they do have alopecia and want help and support. Please hit me up, say hello. I am here for all of you. All of you are my people. You're my tribe, and I am always here to listen. Anything you need. Mwah.
Good. And don't go too far, because I'm going to invite you to my podcast, which is the kick-ass bitch of menopause. So
that would be amazing. I'm actually menopausing right now.
Yeah.
As we speak.
4 years into my menopause.
Oh, I've just begun. Woo.
You've only just begun.
And I just finished. I just ended. Let me see. I hit it in May. In May, I
It's done.
official.
May and over.
Oh yeah, I was 1 year, and then I'm in menopause now. So yep.
Right. Oh wow. I'm only at the edge. I'm just still flushing and chilling. That's all I've got. Just temperature issues right now.
Yeah.
Well,
and the color goes with the temperature. So if I'm hot, I'm pink. Right? Pink's now a new color. I've added it to black, white, yellow, pink is the new thing. And I'm leading the charge.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you,
you, beautiful ladies.
And for the tribe, thank you so much for being on today and really being a part of the conversation. And make sure that you share this episode for somebody that you know is struggling with, self-love and self-worth and social expectations. Definitely share it with them. And join us next week for another fabulous week. And yes, check out Kathy's Bald and Blonde podcast. We love having her on here. Thank you so much again, Kathi. And Gladiator Guru, you have anything to say before we do our final?
It's the message that we've been doing since the beginning of this podcast. Just don't lie to yourself. If you don't lie to yourself, you won't have trust issues. If you don't have trust issues, it's easier for you to ask for help, and it's easier for you to offer help, authentic help. So be real with yourself so that you can be real with everyone around you. And remember, not everybody deserves a VIP section in your life. Send them bitches to the nosebleed.
That's right, man.
Sometimes they do more harm than good. So
that's right. All right. With that,
yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Bye.